Adam Reynolds. The name might not scream flash or flair, but when we're talking about footy IQ, grit, and sheer consistency and resilience, he's one of the names that come up the most. He's one of the greatest halves of this generation. From the streets of Redfern to captaining two of the most iconic games in club history, Reynolds has carved out a legacy hard way through toughness, timing, and total control. Let's take a year-by-year look at the man who has hit 300 NRL games. Reynolds first reached the scene playing for South Sydney under 20s, winning the Toyota Cup in 2010, but in 2011, disaster struck as an ACL injury tail wiped him out for the season. Some footy players do not recover from ACL injuries, but Adam Reynolds did. He came back and was ready for the NRL in 2012. Adam Reynolds made his NRL debut in 2012 and lit it up from the start. He was calm and composed, and with the boot that could split the ball into atoms, he guided South Sydney to their first preliminary final in years and won the Dally M Rookie of the Year. At this point, South Sydney have finally found their main man, and this year in 2013, Reynolds showed why the Rabbitohs were pushing for that premiership. With Greg Inglis, John Sutton, and Isaac Luke, the Bunnies were getting serious. Reynolds kept ticking the boxes, steering, kicking, and controlling the games like he was born for it. But they unfortunately fell short that year. But 2014, that's when things changed. The year every South fan will never forget. South Sydney win their first NRL premiership in 40 years. Adam Reynolds was ice cold, under pressure, naming 5 goals in the grand final and having a crucial hand to play in the game. At just 24, he became a legend at Redfern. He was running the ball with such sheer confidence in the 2014 NRL finals against well-seasoned veterans such as Trent Hodkinson, Moses Mbai, and who could forget James Graham. But it was the following year that really tested Adam Reynolds' character, because from 2015 to 2017, injury began to nag him: shoulders, hamstrings, and ribs. Reynolds didn't get into the spotlight as much as he used to. He was missing plenty of games, but he wasn't missing that competitive spirit. Souths were competitive, but were generally quiet due to this time he was getting injured, and due to all of that, sacked their coach Anthony Seibold at the time. In 2018, superstar coach Wayne Bennett was called in to coach the side, and this was a turning point for the entire Souths team, including Adam Reynolds. He was in form, and the fans were calling for him to save New South Wales. After all, they had just lost 3 series in a row again to Queensland. But the selectors went elsewhere to a young Nathan Cleary, who still got the job done. Reynolds stayed silent and did what was best for him and his team, and it clearly showed up, because Adam Reynolds got his team back to the preliminary final against the Roosters, who would end up going to win back-to-back. In 2019 and 2020, with Greg Inglis retiring, Reynolds had to step up in the premier leadership role, with all the older boys in the South Sydney Rabbitohs teams either retiring or moving on. Reynolds remained competitive and led the team from the point to prelims again, but they couldn't get all the way. His kicking game and game management was still at an elite level. 2021 was a shocker. Despite everything he had done, South Sydney had only offered him a 1-year deal after all he had done for them. 1 premiership, multiple preliminary finals, and not to mention, just in 2021, getting a team to the grand final against a Penrith team that nobody expected them to beat, although they were 1 critical pass away from doing it. Adam Reynolds decided that it was time for a new chapter in his career. From day one, Adam Reynolds changed the Brisbane Broncos through his calm leadership and structure to a young team that had been struggling for years. The Broncos suddenly had swagger again, not from highlight reels, but from control and from Reynolds' style. In 2023, Adam Reynolds was a part of one of the flashiest NRL teams that we've ever seen. With Reece Walsh as your man, he was looking like a brand new version of himself, running the ball with such confidence and such swagger. The Broncos took that all the way to the grand final, but from minutes away, with Ezra Mam scoring a hat-trick, the Penrith Panthers had one of the greatest comebacks of all time. It was heartbreak for Reynolds again. He had lost to the Panthers for a 2nd straight time in the grand final. But he still tore on the defeat. No excuses, just respect. Now, at just 33, Adam Reynolds hits 300 games. That's 300 battles, 300 game plans, and 300 reasons why he's one of the most smartest, toughest, and most respected halfbacks in modern NRL. Injuries still hover, but his leadership hasn't aged a bit. He is one of the greatest players to ever blaze the NRL in this generation, and I genuinely think Adam Reynolds deserves more respect than he gets. Doing what he has done over the past years and being able to remain consistent at such a young age in a league where you have to be so young and so physically strong. Not to mention, Adam Reynolds is not the biggest half in the world, but still manages to compete at the highest level every single week.